Alright, guys, so here is a part two to how I managed to quit marijuana use and quit smoking weed. So, how I did this was, well, here's the backstory, alright, guys. So, the backstory is I first started, using marijuana or weed when I was a freshman in high school. That's when I first started. When I decided to fully quit, fully stop using it, that was my freshman year of college, second semester of my freshman year. And, you know, how I got into it, I was depressed, right? I was depressed. I needed something to escape. I I didn't heavily get into marijuana use until my sophomore year of high school because carts at the time were convenient, and I managed to get carts through an ex-friend, and I got hooked onto it. I'm not going to blame him, but I'm also going to blame myself for, just not being able to say no at the time. But anyways, anyways, um, what is it called? So my junior year of high school, that is when I got the thought, I want to quit. I want to stop. So I tried, and I failed a bunch of times. I failed a lot. I'd relapse. And then, so, that's the year I also got, caught by my parents too. So they became more strict on me. And from there on, I had to stay super low key about it. So my senior year went on. I was still doing carts, but not as much. I'd take periodically, from time to time, I would take hits. It wouldn't be during the day, it'd be at night. But so then my freshman year hit. I go off to college. No one to watch me, so obviously I was going crazy with it. I wasn't going extremely crazy. I would go to class, do my work, get lit on Fridays and Saturdays, and then it would repeat. I wasn't extremely high, but I would take a couple hits, before I'd go out. But out of nowhere, towards my second semester of my freshman year at college, I was what, I need to quit. I needed to stop. And what gave me the power to successfully stop was I needed to stop hanging around people who did it. I had to just separate myself, distance myself from people who did it. Then I had to set a date. I had to set a time, a specific date on when I was going to stop, because sometimes doing cold turkey isn't going to work. Your mind is not completely ready to quit. You need to let your mind know. You need to keep reminding yourself, at this time, because when you set a date, right? When you set a specific time and date, or when you set a specific date that you're going to quit, that gives your mind time to, remind itself and get ready that it's going to stop. So I set a date ahead of time, and I stopped. But also I threw out my products. Any product I had, I either smoked it up till there was nothing, or I threw it out, or I sold it. You have to get rid of all the items you have. You have to distance yourself from people. You need to stop hanging out who do smoke. You need to set a specific date. Set a specific date on when you're going to stop. Do not cold turkey, because it doesn't. You can try it, but it didn't work for me. You can try cold turkey, but I recommend a date to quit. But also, you need to find things that you love to do. And at the time, my freshman year, I was already getting into the gym, and throughout my quitting journey, the gym really helped a lot because it kept my mind stimulated. And just doing the things you love distracts you from the fact that you quit. And it keeps you busy. it keeps you busy also. But yeah, and also like meditating. I've already been meditating since maybe my senior year. Yeah, since like my senior year of high school, I started meditating. I wasn't as consistent, but I became more consistent with meditating, and that definitely helped. And also, I just felt this guilt. Whenever I did smoke, it almost felt like God was telling me to stop. I could hear like the voices. Like, I'm not trying to sound like crazy or anything, but I did hear like phantom voices telling me stop, stop smoking. It sounded like it was like God telling me to stop, and I was just like I need to stop. But also, one time, like, I went to the doctor one time, and the doctor was just like, if you care about your lungs, you need to stop. And I was like, you know what, I need to stop because I do care about my lungs. And uh also another reason is the highs. They weren't the same anymore. They were not hitting the same anymore. Because I like when you're a long time, when you start at like a certain point in your life and then years go by, it's just not the same anymore. So I stopped because it just wasn't hitting. It just wasn't. No matter how big the hit I took, I wasn't getting lit. Like I could like I knew consciously I knew that I was high, but I wasn't getting like the same head high. Like, it was just like, I don't know, it was like I have no words to explain. You know what I mean? It's like I was high, but I wasn't. But that is my journey. What made me start smoking was depression. I needed something to escape. I was mildly depressed. But what made me want to stop was I care for my body. Your body's your temple. My lungs, I cared about my lungs. God was telling me to stop. And, it, mentally, the side effects of it just wasn't helping me. I felt like a zombie. I felt like I wasn't, I just felt like I wasn't on this earth, bro. Like, whenever I would go out and I was high, it made me seem like people were like judging me. If people stared at me, like I was overthinking 10 times more. And I just wanted to be grounded in this life, in this earth. I wanted to continue to just be sober, man. And this while I'm making this video right now, it marks 1 year of me not inhaling any weed in my system. And I'm proud of myself because it wasn't easy. I was still getting urges. I probably do still sometimes get urges, bro. But I also managed to quit what is it called, nicotine too. Like, because I used to do blunt wraps, right? For when I first started smoking weed, when I first got introduced, was the blunt wraps. But it has nicotine in it. So I didn't realize how, over time, when you do it, when you do smoke the weed with the blunt wraps, the nicotine does get into you, and like it does, affect you in some way. Even though people say it's a small percentage of nicotine, at the end of the day, it's still nicotine. So quitting Nick was kind of hard too, but I managed to do it. I quit Nick maybe around October of last year, maybe a little before, but it was around October that I quit. Okay, actually, cap, I remember my last hit of nicotine that I remember. It was on Halloween. So I haven't hit anything since of nicotine, and weed has been a year. So yeah, and alcohol too has been since probably like Halloween. I haven't drank any alcohol. I've been sober. I've been living life sober, and I'm proud of it. It's great. And I believe you can do it too. You just need to really follow the steps of, setting a date, getting rid of the products you have, distancing yourself from friends, from people who you used to associate with, who do smoke, and, just trial and error. I believe in you. You got this, and don't give up.